So I've said before, I don't really believe in using this type of language as legitimate political language, but it sort of is the right language to use here. Trump's been totally cucked by Vladimir Putin. And I know that Pat gets very, very upset when I use that kind of language, and he pulls me aside after the show, and we often have to have a conversation that embarrasses Max because of how crazy it gets. But he's been totally cucked by Putin, who has rejected Trump's invitation to the White House and to Washington, D.C. One of the things that came out of the Helsinki summit, other than the sort of undeniable, obvious confirmation that Trump is a total captive of Vladimir Putin's, is that Trump wants Putin at the White House. They were calling it a sort of second summit, but this time not on neutral ground like Helsinki, but rather on Freudian slip, on Trump's turf, Washington, D.C. in the United States. And it wasn't really clear whether this was a good idea or a bad idea until yesterday when Russia announced that they're going to reject the invitation. They're rejecting Trump's offer for a summit, and it is making Trump once again look like the humiliated fool that he is, getting played by world leaders all over the world. And when you think about one of Putin's top goals as meddling in the 2016 election to destabilize American democracy and to make Russia seem like a power player, the alpha around the world, this is the exact message that is reinforced when Russia says, oh, Trump invited Putin to the White House? No, thanks. This isn't the right time. And for the time being, Russia is saying no. Top Putin Kremlin aide Yuri Ushakov said, quote, after the summit, you know what kind of atmosphere there is around its outcome. I think it would be wise to let the dust settle, and then we can discuss all these questions in a businesslike way, but not now. And this invitation was not some random offhanded statement from Trump. Just last week, Trump and White House Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders said preparations were already underway for the visit, right? You don't say you're already preparing for the visit unless you're thinking about it as a serious thing. And now Putin says, nah, can't be bothered right now, maybe some other time. Trump even tweeted about it last week, saying the summit with Russia was a great success, except with the real enemy of the people, the fake news media. I look forward to our second meeting so that we can start implementing some of the many things discussed, including stopping terrorism, security for Israel, nuclear proliferation, cyber attacks, trade, Ukraine, Middle East peace, North Korea, and more. There are many answers, some easy and some hard to these problems, but they can all be solved. Apparently not with Putin at the White House, though. Ouch! Totally played once again, right? Putin is kind of like the pickup artist, and Trump is the naive youngster who thinks he's such a nice guy. Why wouldn't I go on another date with him?
I was thinking that this was going to stir up Trump's daddy issues, right? I think Trump has one of those complexes where his dad never truly accepted him.
Yeah.
So he was always upset with himself, right? Had to have his dad bail him out so many times with his business endeavors.
Right.
It's kind of like the same thing, right? If we think that Trump is working for Putin, and yet Putin won't even visit the White House, that's kind of shame him.
The art of the deal. This guy, I mean, can you think of a worse deal maker than Trump in politics? Putin is just straight up toying with the guy. But we got along so well in Helsinki, and now he says he doesn't want to play in my sandbox. How many times will Trump get humiliated by Putin before the Trumpists say, enough is enough? This guy's embarrassing our country. Unfortunately, it's a very, very high number. I don't think we're anywhere close to the number of times Trump needs to get humiliated by Putin before the Trumpists will say, this might not be working out as well as the so-called renewed friendship with Russia was supposed to be working out. The Trumpists don't care. They're going to stick with him.
It could have been Russia who declined the invitation. It could have been Israel who declined the invitation. It could have been a 400-pound man sitting on a bed somewhere. Who knows?
Listen, there's nearly 200 countries out there. So the fact that Russia is not coming to Washington, D.C., could actually relate to Equatorial Guinea's decision, or maybe the Chilean president made the call. Could be anybody. Tons of countries out there, as Donald Trump often likes to say. Today's program is made possible in part by Futur. Futur is a social forecasting game where you compete with other players to predict the future, and it's built on the principles of what's called a prediction market, a scientifically proven way of using the wisdom of the crowd to create more accurate predictions about future events. Prediction markets have been shown to work much better than other forecasting methods like polling or expert analysis in many cases. And Futur has actually taken the concept and turned it into a fun, easy to use social game You open up the Futur app and you'll see a whole range of forecasts covering topics across the board, from politics to sports and everything in between. You can check out my predictions and follow me to get updates on my profile, which is linked to in the description if you're watching this on YouTube. Futur is a great tool to find out more about the world, improve your forecasting ability, show off your prediction skills to friends, and even better, when you make predictions on Futur, you're helping to create more accurate forecasts for everybody. Their mission of creating better predictions is great, and actually going in there and seeing how well you can do at predicting the future can be kind of addicting. Go to futur.com, sign up, and start making forecasts. It's free, and it's available on both Android and iOS, as well as on web browsers, and that's futur.com.